Hello and welcome to another exclusive interview on ET Edge Insights. Today we have with us Mr. Ramakrishna. He is the chairman at India Insure.
Hi, I'm Ramakrishna, chairman of India Insure. India Insure is India's first licensed broker. India Insure is a pioneer in the Indian insurance industry with a focus on providing comprehensive risk management solutions to corporate as well as individual customers. We are now 25 years old with over 500 plus people across geographies.
Right then, Mr. Ramakrishnan, India's first licensed insurance broker. So you have practically seen it all. In the realm of risk management and insurance broking, if you see how has it evolved over the years in the Indian ecosystem, and how do you see it going forward in the future?
See, India has progressed a lot in the last 2 decades.
Right.
Yes, a couple of years back, whether it is at an individual level, at a corporate level, we have a cultural issue of we tend to ignore risks. We think life will go on as usual, and whatever bad things may not happen to me, it might happen to somebody else.
Right.
But over the last decade or so, I think the world has witnessed radical transformation in terms of things not going to script. Could it be unexpected floods? Could it be the pandemic that has happened, or the man-made accidents that are happening, etc. So the sensitivity to risk has increased significantly in the last 5 to 8 years.
Right.
And both at an individual level and also at the institutional level or at the business or corporate level. So this is a good thing for us. From ignoring risks, the economy at an individual level and at the institutional level is now acknowledging the existence of risk in our lives, risk in our business. How wholeheartedly we are mitigating that today is still some distance to go. It is a very reluctant acceptance of the risk factor in our day-to-day lives. Some half-hearted measures are being taken. People are buying insurance and using other risk mitigation techniques also. But what is happening today is that cost is an overriding criteria rather than the benefit of buying insurance.
Right.
So people are worried, this is costing me money. I may not get any benefit out of it. This is one item of expenditure where you can't expect a benefit. You should not expect a benefit.
Right.
Nobody wants to have an accident. Nobody wants to have a calamity. But this is more of a contingent, precautionary expenditure. And that mindset is little difficult in the Indian market.
Very pertinent point you put across is, one thing that comes out very clearly is awareness of, how the Indian people are still grappling with insurance. My next question to you is, tell us something about, some of the special or standout insurance strategies that you have in your portfolio.
Yeah, so what we as a practice have been perfecting over the last 25 years is that we try to focus on the customer first rather than the insurance. We try to understand what exactly is their business, and then we try to learn from them where they feel there is a danger for them. The business running, business stopping, if it stops, what are the financial implications, etc. Once we understand what the customer's real business flow is, then we say, can we look at your insurance program? And then we ask the question, does the insurance program cover what the client really perceives as a risk? And if there is a gap, then we try to bridge those gaps, try to bring in solutions, have conversation between the insurer, customer, make them meet and evolve a solution to address those critical factors. Rather than simply buying a vanilla product which is being sold, which they have been buying under the impression that they are being covered. But then they discover, oh my God, this is not what I want. So that education is a big part of our job. Educate the customers. Same thing we are doing at an individual level. People, in India, on the life side, quite a few people used to buy life insurance for a tax benefit. oh man, every month I'm paying this much, I'm very well covered, some 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. But in the last 2 decades, you have seen term life coming in. Then suddenly people realize, oh, I can insure for 1 crore, I can insure for 2 crores. But then they realize that I may not get the money back. So what you have to educate people is that you don't need the money back. But what you need is the protection for the family. So don't pay these monthly installment, but prefer to take a term life policy, which takes care of the family if there is an unforeseen event for the breadwinner. So this kind of customer education, customer mindset change is what our entire focus has been.
Since you've brought the insurances in this discussion, let me ask you about some of these emerging innovative insurance products and risk mitigation solutions, and how does India Insure fit in these scheme of things?
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, every aspect of the economy, our life is changing very rapidly thanks to technology and thanks to the circumstances of the environment around us rapidly changing. For example, if all of us are now talking of climate change as a big thing, but how far climate change is going to impact the businesses or the individual lifestyles, or how far cyber risk is going to impact. Every week I am sure there is a story in the media of cyber theft, cyber fraud.
Absolutely.
How it is not just a large bank or a manufacturing company that's getting affected, even individual. Yesterday I think somebody shared a story, some lady lost some 60,000, 70,000 in the airport, in the lounge somebody misused the app or something of that kind. So this is where insurance is also coming up with innovative solutions. Now there are individual cyber risk policies available. It's not a corporate, but an individual, you, me, or anybody can buy a cyber related. If some cyber incident happens, I end up losing 50,000, 100,000 or 500,000, maybe that kind of policies can mitigate my loss. Similarly for the companies, business interruption is a huge element of risk which is grossly overlooked. The bigger companies may still endure business shutdown for a week or 15 days, but the medium and small enterprises, if there is a business shutdown, there is no fire, there is no accident in your premise, but the access to your premises is cut off. Right. Let's assume there is a flood, the bridge has collapsed, or there is some other thing has happened. While you are not impacted, the access for you to ship out or get raw material is affected and there is a loss of profit. Very few businesses in India cover this, though these covers are available. These are the products available in the insurance industry. So what is also needed is that the insurance industry needs to step up the risk solutions that are available to the various segments of the market. And that is an area I think we have been lacking a bit. I see the mutual fund industry as a phenomenal success story of popularizing mutual funds and also popularizing indirectly investment into the stock markets. I think the insurance association, the insurance industry needs to do a lot more aggressive reach out to the public to bring awareness on insurance as an important tool to survive and to prosper.
Right, very well said. Aggression is the key. When we talk about how change is accelerating, there are new technologies coming in, innovation happening, new products. For all this to accumulate and carry this forward, you need a skilled workforce.
Yes.
So that is very critical, and finding the best of the talent, that's a huge task. So how does India Insure go about this, and what is your overall view of the talent pool in India with regards to your industry?
Well, that's a very hot topic and a hot button if you ask me. Not only in my industry, that every industry, and no matter whether you talk in India, you go to Southeast Asia, you go to Europe, America, everybody is concerned about the shortage of skilled manpower. I think there is a historical challenge that we all face. We have been used to this concept that yes, you search, you will get good people who have the ready-made skill set. I can use their skill set and be productive. I think that paradigm has changed and we are struggling to adapt to that paradigm because the technology is moving so fast, the skill sets are moving so fast. Today finding ready-made solutions is not possible. So what you will have to do, what we are doing and what most other industries are also doing is, you have to invest into freshers, pick people up from the college campuses. You have to invest your time and money in training them. They may be with you, they may not be with you after a year or so. You have to pay that price and build that into your cost of recruitment. So skilled, ready-made manpower is in acute shortage. Why? Because the economies are growing. Look at the growth of our own country in the last 2-3 decades. When there is such a growth in the economy, 7% growth, 8% growth on the size of Indian economy is mind-boggling. There is bound to be talent shortage. So the answer is organizations, including mine, have to first decide what kind of skills they have, what do they need, how do they impart the training. And the other bigger thing that I would say is, we need to change the way we work also.
Very pertinent.
We need to change our processes. You need to make them far more simpler, so that if you can bring in somebody, you can train him in 15 days, 30 days to do that thing, and then you have to invest in so-called your AI or machine learnings or whatever technology is throwing up every day to harness the manpower talent and the tech talent and fuse them both to get the organization to survive and do what it is supposed to do, rather than blindly hoping and praying that I get manpower.
Right.
So that's a paradigm shift.
Right. Now, once you have that, those skill sets in your organization, you train people. How do you instill that culture of continuous learning within the organization? Because this has to be a cultural shift. And as a leader, what is your role in this?
So my personal belief is that culture is something that takes time to get built.
Right.
You just cannot impose a culture. So what is important is that you need to preach continuously, consistently the same message.
Right.
Repeat again and again and again what you want to be the culture, whether it is being sensitive to customers, whether it is following a process and a procedure to do the work. For example, we have interactions with customers. If you don't record that interaction, it remains an individual memory.
Right.
It doesn't become an institutional memory. So the best way to propagate a culture is to build in an institutional memory. And to this extent, we built in a software all our interactions to the customers from the time we want to prospect, we convert them into a client. Fantastic. Then there is a servicing activity. What are the activities?
Right.
Which individual in the company did it? When did they do it? What was the conversation? Capture the minutes, capture the documents, which is accessible enterprise-wide. So that is helping us to a large extent in mitigating the employee turnover challenges that we all face today. So that is the culture that I am propagating, and we at the senior leadership level, all my senior colleagues, all my directors, etc., everybody is hammering the same message to the teams. You are important, we love you, but end of the day, the company is bigger than all of us. Absolutely. So we need to make sure that if you and I are missing, for whatever reason, the customer should not suffer because an individual is not at the desk. So that's what we try to do.
That's fabulous. What's the vision for India Insure right now and in the next 5 years?
What we are trying to do is to build a phygital culture.
Right.
What I mean by phygital culture, yes, we talk a lot about technology in isolation. Technology in isolation cannot deliver goods. You built a fantastic, all of us have smartphones. The smartphones have 100 features,
right,
but we use hardly 5 or 6.
Absolutely.
Same happens when we build enterprise software, we build chatbots, we build apps, we build this, we build that, with so many features. But the actual workforce puts it to a very limited use. By creating a phygital culture, you have to integrate the physical resources with the machine resources. We need to convince our workforce that, boss, the technology is for your benefit, not because the organization wants to eliminate you.
Right.
How do we build technologies which people really use and feel happy and kicked about, saying that it is giving me the value add? Same thing happens with the customer. You have to make it customer friendly, you have to make it user friendly, and it has to be in the language he or she or they understand. Right. So then your technology has relevance to him. And this in the long term will cut down cost of service delivery, bring down the cost and add value to the customer. Right. Another important thing which is an investment which we do is, we are investing a lot of our time, money in imparting our shared experiences to our customer. It's nothing to do with him. Suppose I have an incident in Kenya or Sri Lanka, I come back and tell the Indian client, hey, this happened there. Right. So it's a knowledge sharing which we do with the client. Same thing, the India knowledge we transplant to the other countries. So this constant exchange of knowledge, case studies as you want to call it,
Correct.
helps customers really perceive the probable challenges they may have. So that is how we try to build a culture, and this is the vision that I am trying to propagate. We are of course a listed entity, and we have given stake to our employees in the organization so that there is organizational continuity for our customers, etc. That's what we have done.
That's fabulous, and you've put forward a very important point that technology is not here to take the job of a person.
Yes.
It's for them to actually
Make it
add value to
them.
Right. Very pertinent point. One last question about the experience you've put forward in this market. So for a person or an organization who wants to get into insurance broking and risk management in India, what is your message to them?
My message is simple. You need to decide your strategy,
Right.
how you are going to add value, how you are going to differentiate yourself. You can decide to be a very local player, you can become a pan-India player, you can be an international player also. It depends upon what strategy and what vision they propagate for their respective unit. Second important thing, for success in business today, especially in a knowledge business and in a service business, you need to invest in a team, because individuals are becoming fairly limited value for building value in a business. You need to have an ecosystem, you need to have a team, you need to have an infrastructure, you need to have a tech platform. So these are the investments. So which brings to the fundamental question, you need capital. A fair amount of capital is required if you really want to get going in any business today, relevant to your ambitions. I'm not saying you need $1 million, you don't need. But what you need is whatever is your business plan, please capitalize it accordingly, then only you will be able to succeed. And a little bit of patience. Overnight successes are rare.
Fantastic. On that note, Mr. Ramakrishna, thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
wonderful insights. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.